What's up, party people? This is Maine's World, and it is party time. The newest and realest sports podcast on the planet, giving the truth to you straight. Why? Because you can't control me. I'm Jermaine Harris, and I'm your host. I hope you enjoy the show. All right, good morning, party people. I'm sure at this point, everyone knows I'm a big-time Bears fan. Big-time Bulls fan, White Sox. I even like the Cubs. But it's football season. And for the last few days, I've been depressed. Down in the dumps. Just distraught. Basically, I've been recovering from that debacle we called a football game on Monday night. Didn't play well on offense at all. Special teams. People just getting uniforms for no reason. It was rough. But I drank some green tea, meditated a little bit. Bears are 5-2 and back in the lab. So I decided I need to be back in the lab too. So I'm here. I'm going to get on this website and look up your questions. And I'll be right back giving it to you straight. I appreciate you guys being here. And let's get after it today. All right, our first question comes in from Josh in Tampa. Was Kevin Cash pulling Blake Snell the right move? Josh, yes, I think it was the right move. I'm fine with it. Why? Mainly because that was their plan. I think it was their plan all along. Even when the inning started, one of the commentators said he wonders if he's going to be able to get through the sixth, being that it's the third time he's going to face the order. So that was already in people's minds. The fact is, no starting pitcher on either team lasted more than 6 innings. So that was kind of like the recipe. Different circumstances each game, but when you got the MVP caliber player that Mookie Betts is coming up to bat, you got to make some tough decisions. Yes, Snell was cooking, but that's how pitching is. You're cooking until you're not. And then when you're not, usually in a jam with the bases loaded or man on first and third with 1 out, or you've given up 2 runs. So, yes, we like to say hindsight is 20/20, but in this situation, I'm not sure. If Snell is still in the game and the outcome doesn't change, what is the narrative that we're saying now about what Kevin Cash did? Oh, he should have pulled Snell. So, it's a tough decision either way, but I think it was the right move. But I thought that Mookie Betts let everyone off the hook when he hit the solo shot again in 8th on yet another pitcher. You know, the odds are that Snell wasn't going to be in the 8th. But the Dodgers had the better team. So I'm not sure why we are surprised about the outcome. We just need a narrative to talk about. But I think it was the right decision. But more importantly, the Rays did not lose because Kevin Cash pulled Blake Snell at too early. The Rays lost because they scored 1 run. And they had that 1 run with 26 more outs left. They hit the solo shot in the first, giving them a 1-run lead, making it a little bit easier to pitch with a lead. But they manufactured no more runs. They knocked the starting pitcher out in the first inning and faced like 6 more pitches and didn't score any more runs. All the games they won was because of run support and an error by the Dodgers. So, yes, I think it was a good move. All your moves when you lose are going to be scrutinized. But the bottom line is the Dodgers were the better team. And when you put up 1 run, which you scored in the first, the odds are in this new baseball atmosphere that you're not going to win. You got to score runs. And they failed to do that. All right, our next question comes in from Bartholomew in Gary, Indiana. Do you think Matt Nagy should give up play calling duties for the Bears? Well, Bartholomew, the short answer is yes. I do think Matt Nagy should give up play calling duties. And let me rephrase that. I think Matt Nagy should assign play calling duties to his offensive coordinator. And let me tell you the reason why. The reason why I say this is because as the head coach, you are the overall manager for the entire team. You have to look at things from a macro level, not the micro level of play calling. I think Matt Nagy is too focused on his play call sheet and not focused enough on the team as a whole. Things that he should be focused on. The Bears are number 2 in penalties. Yes, we've had some questionable calls, but we're the number 2 most penalized team in the league. Head coach has to try to fix that. Our offensive line is just not playing well. We fired our offensive coordinator from last year, have a new one. I think he had some COVID-19 issues. But that unit of the group that you're managing needs some extra attention. So you as the head coach has to be the extra person that focuses on the area that's preventing the entire organization from being more successful. I don't want to say the Bears aren't being successful because we're 5-2, but our offense is bad. We're like probably the number 25 offense right now, averaging 20 points a game. Now we're giving up 21 points a game based on Monday night's performance. We're 30th in third down conversions. And it's not because Matt Nagy doesn't have good plays. It's because he's calling the wrong plays at the wrong time. Think because he's focused on play calling and not situational football and time and score. Those are things that he should be focused on. And maybe those play calling duties are taken away from his time that he could be managing more, not more important, more relevant things at the time. So, what is your offensive coordinator doing? I'm not sure. Matt Nagy did not say that he would not give up the play calling. He said that we as a group, if we feel like that is the problem, then we don't have ego where we can move in another direction. But I don't know who this we is. All the we people here talk about are his subordinates. So I think he's missing that he is the decision maker on all things for the Chicago Bears. He is ultimately the decision maker on the field for all things Chicago Bears. Just like he made the call to change the quarterback, he probably needs to make the call to assign duties to his subordinates so he can focus on the bigger picture. And I think that's the overall problem with the Bears. So, yeah, to answer your question, hopefully he gives up play calling duties soon. Or let me rephrase. Hopefully he assigns play calling to the offensive coordinator. Okay, this question comes in from Brandy in California. What do you think about Jon Jones saying that he's the greatest UFC fighter of all time? Well, Brandy, I can't say that Jon Jones is wrong about this statement. He's been the most dominant champion in UFC history. He's the most athletic fighter that I've seen in quite a while. I can't think of anyone more athletically gifted than Jon Jones. I'm not particularly a Jon Jones fan because of his out of the octagon, reputation, and but he's not wrong. I mean, 15 straight title defenses. He's beat several UFC Hall of Famers. You can argue that some of them were on their decline, like particularly that comes to mind Rashad Evans. When he beat Rashad Evans, I think Rashad Evans lost like 8 out of his last 10 fights. But he did beat DC twice, beat Alexander Gustafsson twice. Quentin Rampage Jackson took the belt from Mauricio Shogun Hua. I think he just outclasses fighters in his weight class. I think that this statement came out basically because he was feeling some kind of way that he wasn't being talked about after this Khabib Justin Gaethje fight. I mean, in some circles we just call that hating. But The only other fighters that you can say come close is maybe George Rush St. Pierre. He was 26-2. Had 12 consecutive title defenses. The two fights he lost was against Matt Hughes and Matt Serra, both UFC Hall of Famers. Maybe you could say Anderson Silva, but you can't because he lost too many times. Anderson Silva had a very long run of title defenses. It's probably broken up. He probably had more title defenses than 15, but several of his defenses didn't end up being title fights because of his opponent doing drugs or not making weight. That'd be interesting for me to go look up. But yes, Jon Jones is the most dominant UFC fighter in history. I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. I thought he was going to move up, but apparently he's moving down in weight class, and that is scary. His power and skill is I don't think going to be matched in any division, really. So, yes, Jon Jones is the greatest UFC fighter of all time. I mean, you can make an argument and dispute it, but you would be wrong. Okay, our last question comes in from Kim in Kansas City. What are your thoughts about this Justin Turner situation? All right, party people. So Kim is talking about Justin Turner from the Los Angeles Dodgers, who mysteriously came positive for COVID in the middle of a baseball game and was taken out of the game. But then after the Dodgers won the World Series, he came back on the field and was celebrating with his teammates. All right, Kim, these are my thoughts. I don't know what the hell Major League Baseball is doing. How do you, A, come up with a positive test in the middle of the game? Like, when are these tests conducted? And why wasn't his results made known before the game started? Or everybody's results, for that matter. B, why didn't he have to leave the facility or be in a quarantine skybox or something? There were no limited fans in a quarantine skybox to watch the game or something. He was in the bullpen. I'm not sure. C, how does everyone allow him to just be around? I know it's exciting. I know we just won a World Series, but we all know why you got taken out of the game. There was reports that the security staff tried to stop him, and he was not having it. But I'm like, well, what kind of security is that? Because if you run on the field naked, they tackle you. Like, he should have just been tackled. So my thoughts are this: it happened, it's done. We can't go back in time and change it, but there needs to be some punishments. Like, he needs to be suspended some games, whether it be 1 or 10. The Dodgers organizations needs to be fined. They need to set some sort of precedents or guidelines. Hopefully this won't be a thing in the future, that we figure out this COVID-19, come up with a vaccine, but it's just unacceptable. Am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised, because it's been unacceptable practices all over the world. And they're still human, but something has to happen adversely for the Dodgers and Justin Turner to show the American public that's just wrong and it can't be tolerated. That's my thoughts. All right, party people, that's our show for today. Hit me up at mainsworldpodcast.com and drop your questions. I'm Jermaine Harris, and I'm out. Why? Because you can't control me.